All right. Okay. I want to talk about immortality. I was reading this book, The Light of Egypt, The Science and of the Soul and the Stars by Thomas Bergain. So, in this book, The Laws of Death from Hermes. As it is below, so it is above. As on earth, so in the sky. There are two states of being. One is mortal, the other immortal. That which is mortal is dissolvable, and dissolvable bodies pass away like a mist in the morning. An immortal body is an essence which is eternal and incorruptible. By the twain, the mortal and the immortal can exist together forever, but each returneth to the place from when it came. The mortal body is sensible, but the immortal is reasonable. All right. So let's move on to the Light of Egypt. All right. We will therefore leave them with the reader as they are, pure and free from mental bias of any mortal being. We're going to talk about immortality, being mortal versus immortal. How do you gain immortality? And how these priests, through the 7 sins, deadly sins, like how their power falls, and those who they seeked vengeance against rose from their ashes, while they dwell in what they laid out for their enemies, but they became their own worst enemies. Wow. Okay, that part. In the previous chapter, we have shown that all realms of life above the human are immortal. So, all realms above human are immortal. Immortal, what is immortality? Like living forever. Energy is indestructible. Our energy is indestructible. Change is inevitable, energy is indestructible, and that those below this plane are the reverse, or that they only possess possibilities of immortality in rudimentary form. So that man alone possesses the elements of both life and death. Those who are in this realm possess elements of both life and death. The laws of life have also been fully elucidated, and the soul, which even only imperfectly obeys them, will. And the soul, which even only imperfectly obeys them, will, after it has been purified by much suffering. Consequently, the great majority of these souls, who are really human beings, will inherit immortality as the natural consequence of their humanity. But these are exceptions which, though a few in number comparatively, as previously stated, require special notice. These exceptions may, for the sake of convenience, be divided into 3 distinct classes. Now, this is what we're going to be talking about, these 3 distinct classes. The first and the most numerous class consists of imperfectly organized, sensitive, weak-natured individuals with little or no mental bias, who possess strong mediumistic magnetisms. Individuals of this class, though perfectly human to begin with, soon lose the actual control of the external organism, and in consequence, the body becomes the obedient instrument for any and every class of disembodied earthbound spirits. Or what is still worse, it may become the slave of some vicious elementary. This is talking about an out-of-body experience, astral world. In this case, there was no real or true individuality. Therefore, no one can assert truthfully that he was actually acquainted with the true parsonage, for the real soul had departed probably in the very early infancy of organisms' physical existence. Because you are a preconceived thought pattern that erupted into a physical form here into this realm. Now, during infancy is when your body decided to be out of body or not. You could be out of body, controlling your vehicle out of body in the physical right now. I could be doing that. How, when, or where, none but the trained seer can tell, as in every individual case, the astral causes that produce the soul's abortion will differ widely. Second class are those who fall victim to premeditated obsession. And are by no means so numerous as former. So this is talking about 3 different types of curses, that could be breaked and that people go through. There's levels to the shit. The second class are those who fall victim to premeditated obsession and are by no means so numerous as the former. In this case, the organism is generally very fine so far as magnetic temperament is concerned, but the soul is utterly wanting in spiritual volition or will. The soul is utterly wanting in spiritual volition or will. That is to say, the magnetic polarity is of such a nature that the spiritual will of the soul is almost powerless to act upon it. The absence of this essential element of human life may be a result of mental conditions of the mother during pregnancy or of mental coma, so to say, of both parents at the moment of conception. This mental coma externalizes itself in the offspring as a lack of vim, nerve, and fire. Hence, we often see this condition manifested in the children of kings, noblemen, and of those of great wealth who have the means to pander to and gratify a fashionable, sentimental lassitude. In addition to this lack of spiritual volition, the magnetic constitution is always strongly mediumistic, and the individual, if left quite free from the control of others, would be naturally good, highly sensitive, and in true sense of spiritual prevalence. So preconceived, my mom had to sew me, sew her womb, had to sew her sac, sew me back into her sac because her sac almost tore me out. So they had to put me back in her sac for me to, come out of her. So was I supposed to be here, or did the doctors it's a preconceived thought for me to be here? She went and got an operation and bed rested, and with me and her both at will, we made it both alive through her pregnancy. I got here. This is talking about leaving all these leaving the physical realm at an early age, because you're already grown. Your mind is already grown when you are a preconceived thought. You already know when you are out of the womb. this is what our society makes us forget a lot of. We remembered a lot coming out of the womb. We remember everything. And throughout our physical life, we tend to forget, but our spirit remembers and carries us through out of body. And a lot of young people leave their body. It's too toxic in here. It's too toxic. Sometimes our bodies, I smoke a lot. I smoke weed, so my body is not toxic. It's natural, it's all natural. It's like, put earth inside of you and earth will grow and you will bloom. All right, anyways, let's see. Let's go on. When the obsession transpires, it is generally found that some potent external mind, that is that of an evil sorcerer's. Okay, look. Premeditated obsession. All right, wait, I didn't read this. Highly sensitive and true sense of spiritual prowess. A spirit medium, inspirational, physical, or clairvoyant according to his peculiar magnetic grade. This is a reason why they often fall the victim of premeditated obsession. When obsession transpires, it is generally found that some potent external mind, that of an evil sorcerer or black magician, according to the sex, requires an organism for the purpose of prolonging their personal existence. So, you're in the astral realm, and there's sorcerers and magi's that see you over there, not, doing your thing. And requires the organism for the purpose of prolonging their own personal existence. So they already lost some of their gifts. So they need a host, and they see you have your gifts and you're on your path. So when a suitable mediumistic body is found, they bring the whole of their powerful magnetic will to bear upon the almost well-less brain of their victims, and slowly but surely eject the rightful occupant, and then, by virtue of their occult powers and magic arts, inhabit the organism themselves, while the near friends and relatives of the victim are often surprised at the remarkable change which they notice has taken place in temperament and disposition, but alas, they seldom or never suspect the terrible truth which such change implies, nor can they possibly be brought to fully understand that the individual moving among them, as usual, has nothing whatever in common with their silently departed friend. So, this parasite is trying to take over and host over you, because they see that you're doing that from the astral realm. So they want a piece of that, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna take over this 3D host body, because this person's in the astrals controlling their body, So they take it upon themselves to do that, and they're not seeing that this body is connected to this, astral body. All right. So the third and the last, also the least in the number of these classes, include those who are born into the world under strangely conflicted conditions. Possessing all the essential elements of manhood, they also possess a powerful current of the most potent and concentrated form of selfishness and pride. In addition to this undesirable acquisition, they express the highest form of intellectuality, combined with a powerful will and mediumistic temperament. These dominating conditions predispose them to the study of psychology and occultism. Hence, they fall an easy prey to the members of Black Magi and their inversive astral brethren. Their selfishness, combined with their unbounded ambition and desire for power, precipitate them headlong into the most frightful practices, where, surrounded by the infernal rites of their diabolical seducers, they become the helpless slaves of the very power they sought to control. Henceforth they are lost. As the Hermetic law states, they are punished with death, and they know it, and consequently are compelled for their own safety to remain faithful to the order which entrapped them. Their only motto is self. Their only desire is to live, and this they will do at any cost. Their only desire is to live, and this they will do for any cost. For their own single lives, they would sacrifice the balance of God's creation, if such a thing were possible, simply because death to them is death in reality. Whoa. In the first and second classes of so-called lost souls, the true individual, as we have shown, does not become lost. He is the foolish, ignorant soul sent to the world again. He simply loses his physical organism. This personality, along with the animal and astral portion of it, becomes a lifeless shadow at death, and slowly disintegrates within the magnetic spaces of astral light. It is the misty form, incapable of personating its original owner or of being galvanized into temporary life. Okay, so if I could astral travel and I could control my astral body, I have the light and I have all the knowledge and abilities to be able to do that and not get out of control. I didn't vandalize or overuse my powers to get rid of my powers. Nobody got I never lost my powers, you know. These unfortunate souls have lost their abilities and light to astral travel and have ability to control their own astral bodies. Hence they are taken over by and eliminated as soulless bodies. In this plane, we have soulless people who can never reach to the light. Yeah, so if you're not aware enough, they have the ability to control your things, because they have nothing better to do. They only know how to host and like feed off of you. So that's their new job, and that's how they get by. So you have to keep going and be aware of these parasites and demons and stuff like that around you, so they don't take over you as a host. So you have to always program yourself. In the first and second classes of so-called lost souls, the true individual, as we have shown, does not become lost. He is the foolish, ignorant soul sent to the world again. He simply loses his physical organism. This personality, along with the animal and astral portion of it, becomes a lifeless shadow at death, and slowly disintegrates within the magnetic spaces of astral light. It is a misty form, incapable of personating its original owner or of galvanizing into temporary life, while the counterfeiting, obsessing forces, after running the cycle of magnetic existence within the vital spaces of the planet, become detached to the eighth sphere, the dark satellite or orb of death. This attraction is brought into force by virtue of their affinity with the realms of elemental being. They have sunk beneath the plane of humanity and consequently are no longer human. And when once they become enclosed within the fatal magnetic whirl of death, they lose the polarity over the feeble over the feeble atoms which constitute their only being, and gradually dissolve atom by atom like the poisonous miasmatic mist before the rising sun. While the deific atoms themselves, which these lost personalities fail to realize, imperishable as ever, enter upon a new cycle of involution and evolution, thus slowly building up new individualities for themselves, not on this planet, the scene of their failure, not on this planet, the scene of their failure and suffering, but on a higher plane, in worlds more ethereal than ours. So, it's kind of talking about like archonic forces who have all the abilities but don't have some kind of abilities that humankind, some souls have, to use their light and have control over it. Some beings and light beings have lost their ability to use their light. Having considered the failure of what might be termed the human animal soul in preceding chapter, we now come to the triumph of the human soul over the forces of matter, known as adeption. This subject furnishes a fitting terminus to the first part of the mystical studies, in which we have included, though briefly very important, section of occult science embraced with the lesser mysteries of nature. By the triumph of the human soul over the forces of matter tempted adeption, we do not refer to the attaining of immortality, since, as previously stated, the vast majority of mankind inherits immortality as the result of their humanity. It is all, once you come into this realm and you are born, you are burned here. Your soul is burned at the stakes. Your soul gets burned, so you live out of body with your soul. Your spirit lives out of body, and your soul is your physical body, your vehicle. That's why the more you love your vehicle, the more you get connected. You become one with your vehicle. There are soulless people who never worked on themselves and always worked on other beings, and they lost their gifts. That's what happened. They lost their gifts of like having control of their own, so they became soulless. They cannot grow a soul anymore, because in their previous life forms, all they did was take and host and parasite off of other people. So this is why we have parasites in our body, and we need to rid of and demonic forces. Also, I want to share with this Lady Fatima's visions. Lady Fatima's visions in her hell visions, that the Vatican, they kept 3 secrets away from us that were detrimental to be given to us, and we were supposed to be given these 3 secrets in humanity. And 2012 was the end of her, Lady Fatima's, miracles on earth. I don't know what that means. I'm still trying to decipher it. This is why I want you guys to get on board and understand that if we have premonitions and midwives and all of these fundamental things that the medical the medical health fraud system kept from us vital energy regenerative ways that we are able to heal our bodies. We have abilities as human beings to heal, and we have regenerative abilities, and the medical system, with keeping that from us with their serpent energy, they're putting poison into our minds, leaking poison into our minds to get us away from ourselves, to know that we are all growing, all natural, ever growing like nature. We are blooming. We have forests blooming inside of our bodies. We are ever blooming, and we're there. That's what immortality is that we are ever blooming. We are ever healing. Look at how much things that humanity, look at how much they have chemtrails, they have GMOs, they have so many different products that kill us in this world, but we are still going strong, and like we still are ever blooming. We're beating this stuff, you know. They know that what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, and we're immune. We get immune to these drugs of society that they're throwing at us, and we learn to embrace them. And they are learning that pattern that we have. So the best thing to do is let the flow of nature take over, and surrender to nature, and take heed to nature's fury. Because when all goes under, Mama Earth got us. Mama Amma got us. When all goes under, take heed of nature's fury. When your needs turn to greeds and all, when your needs turn to greeds and all goes under, who got you? Mama Earth. Like, she forgives you. You deserve your own altar, Mama Earth, to pray to you, sing to you. We have Mother Nature, and Mother Nature, all it needs is to be protected. Doesn't ask much. It's ever growing and everlasting. So that's something some soulless priests, sorcerers, and magi's are going to be blocked regardless. You can keep going. You can keep going. That's what is going to bring about change in our society. So, to those real seekers of esoteric knowledge who aspire to know truth, irrespective of the claims of any literary or learned worldly authority, we offer the following elucidation of adeptship as coming from one who has actually passed through the various realms and states of spiritual existence necessary for the acquisition of the knowledge put forth, and which is therefore the result of personal experiences within the world of spirit. And should the writer be blindly charged with contradicting all the previous teachings of modern theosophical authorities upon the subject, it only remains to point out the fact that very few of any of them are their description are entitled to explain the lofty state that would set forth, and their description are mostly inference and submiss rather than conscious knowledge. In order to present the subject as clearly as possible to the student, we will consider first the various grades of adeptship, second, the nature and the functions of adeptship, and third, how adeptship is attainable. Okay, so the next part is like, it's really good. You can't learn wisdom. Somebody can't teach you wisdom. You can't learn from another man. You can learn another man's knowledge, but you cannot learn another man's wisdom. Wisdom can only come from your own experiences, and you can't live vicariously through other people. This is the whole message of this soulless and sorcerers and all these things is you can't control, parasites are controlling, trying to control and host over you. You have to learn and be aware. This is why awareness is key. Wisdom is power and awareness is key, because this is what we're going, we in the fucking spiritual war. Like, look at my hood. We're in a spiritual fucking war, and like, you gotta learn how to control your own motherfucking self. That's all it comes down to. So with that being said, peace and much gratitude is the attitude, and keep your third eye cleansed, and keep some selenite on deck. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. All right, peace and love. This is the book, Light of Egypt. Much power and revealing the mystery, like truth, knowledge, wisdom, power, knowledge, respect. It's the key to life. It's what you need in life. Knowledge, power, respect. Knowledge, power, respect. Knowledge, power, respect. Knowledge, power, respect. It's the key to life. It's what you need in life. It's the key to life. It's what you need in life.